Welcome to our first episode of Buzzed Outdoors. This is the first season, first episode. We are coming into the 2016 ice fishing season. We decided to start our own, outdoor show. We wanted to start right at the New Year's, and we did it the best way possible. We went to Red Lake, my first time. We went there, got a resort through Hillman's Resort actually. We were there for 2 days and 2 nights.
Didn't even know you lied until you time. Now we're weather and the dreams fall apart. And so this is our heart. Graceful as you were, you're long gone now. I can see your slender fingers in the dirt. Your hands are full of silent endless words.
Let's get to some fishing action.
First fish off Red Lake. Woohoo! Red Lake walleye. Nice 15-incher. Get off the bobber off a small little pink jig. I don't know. Let's get some more.
Grab it. No shaking, dude. Dude, you need a measuring thing. Let's measure it right away. Where's your sugar? What's the tail? 25. 25. What are you gonna do with it? Oh, hang on. 26. 26. Take some pictures. Yeah, but Jesus Christ, it's a small hook. I know. That's my biggest walleye I've ever freaking. 26, Jesus. Going down? Boom! Right there. Oh my god.
Alright, let me talk about some of the techniques we used on Red Lake. It was slow as can be. Wasn't good, wasn't bad. We had to do a lot of presentation work on these fish because they were, it's just a big flat. We can't find good structure to be on when you're in a permanent house type of deal. You just kind of got to go where the resort tells you to go. So what we did is we had been to the ice show this year. James Holst of IDO talked to me, and I was talking to him about what we got to do to be up there and catch some good fish. Well, he put us on gave us some good techniques at least. What he did is he told us to use this rip and wrap right here. This thing rattles like that. It was just unreal. We'd take this lure and we'd put it down there. We're fishing 10 feet of water. We'd put it down there and we'd just jig rapidly. We're calling in them fish. You can almost hear it when you're in the house. So what we did is we put this down there, we jig it for a little bit, and we bring it back up. What we would then do is take a minnow head, put it on the back hook. We'd jig it, and then we'd set it about 1.5 feet off the bottom. Well, that gave us the opportunity to kind of relax too. We'd have our dead stick on our left and our jigging pole on our right. And this is how we caught a lot of the big fish, is because of this. It'd call them in from a ways away, and then we'd have our dead minnow on it, because they're super picky. You want to have the smallest presentation. Well, I thought I'd want the smallest presentation to be a jig and a minnow head. Well, we did this, just this Rapala, rip and wrap, with the minnow head, and they would just devour it. You wouldn't even see them on the screen. You'd have it jigging there, you'd set it down, you'd let it sit there for 5 minutes, and all of a sudden you'd just see the rod tip just barely bend, and you know you got a fish on.
Sweet. Here, get a picture of me. Not bad, like 18, 20. Phone is behind me there, dude. I'll put my pole on the ground. I'll stand up. Nope. Perfect. Pretty good size.
Eat them up.
Yep.
What are we looking at? 15?
14, 13.
Maybe. 14 and a half? 13?
14 and a quarter.
Okay.
Alright, but in the day, what do we got to do? You got to have this presentation. You got to make these fish come to you. So that's why I like this rip and wrap. But when I caught my biggest walleye was off of this little whistler jig from a local, just a local tackle shop. And I'd jig this up and down with the little spinners on it, and it'd make bubbles or whatever it does under the water. And I'd have a minnow head on this also. And that's what I caught the big fish off. That's a crappie jig, by the way. So pretty much anything works when you're bringing them to you. You got to bring them to you. You can't just wait for them to come to you. You got to bring them to you. Especially if you can't move around with the permanent house, you have to bring them to you. You have to use whistler jigs. You have to use rip and wraps. You have to use something like a buckshot also. We used those. They worked. You know, it was just hit or miss on what's going to work, but when I found out the rip and wrap worked, I just stuck with that. That was the one thing I wanted to just keep using, because it's like, it's working, I'm going to use it. Now we're on Lake of the Woods, where we went specifically for northern pike. So we get up there and my buddy's uncle has everything set up for us. Well, here's an example of what we got. We got a tip up, just like this, regular wood tip up, and we used anything he really had. He's very good at it. This is what they do up there a lot, because they're sick of walleyes. I don't know how you can get sick of walleyes, but I guess they are. So he's got it all set up. And one thing we used was this Northland tackle jig right here. Double treble hook. It worked pretty swell, because the fish, when they're swimming around with this thing, these blades are moving like crazy. And I think that's like I said earlier, the rip and wrap, you know, you got to attract the fish in. You can't go, the fish don't just come to you unless you have something for them. So it worked great. This is how we caught the big fish, was with this. We also used regular just big red hooks with a, you know, dead Cisco or a dead sucker. Anything really worked up there. And these fish are just huge, and they're just going to eat whatever they can, I guess. So, you know, it was just kind of a waiting game, honestly. And it proved out to be awesome because, like I said, we got pictures and pictures of fish that we caught that were just unreal. Just makes us not want to tip up fish around here anymore, because around here, biggest one you're going to catch 32, 34, that's an average up there. You know, that's one of your smaller ones. So it was just awesome to do that. And you know, these techniques are just simple. You just got to be simple with your techniques, honestly, when you're doing these type of fishing trips. If you get too complicated into these things, you'll still catch fish, but is it really worth it? Let's get to some fishing action.
Oh yeah, good one. Good one? Yeah.